underbelly spots too. We don't always see those. Right, those beautiful spots go right under his belly there. Okay, well, I think what we might do, folks, is while we're still with this beautiful cat, we're not going anywhere. I want to see if he gets active. Excuse me, please. And let's cross over to Pete and see what he's up to. We'll see you just now.
Well, welcome back this side. We just thought we'll leave those elephants for a bit while they're in the thick stuff. We didn't really get a good view of them again, but we could hear them. And just came ahead to the waterhole. This is where I'm hoping they come and drink, if all goes well, before the sun sets. There's a couple of buffalo here, beautiful setting. So let's just show you around a little bit. A fettle is what buffalo do when they fight a battle. You call it a fettle. It's funny what the mind and the mouth can sort of come up with sometimes, but it's not uncommon to see buffalo, old buffalo like this, the Duggar boys as we refer to them, with broken horns, either a piece of it, or in this case almost the whole of it. But it also highlights nicely what we call the bosses. See those two big sort of shields, or almost like helmets on the head? Those are called the bosses, and they would be very important in big fights, especially when buffalo bulls are fighting. There's a massive sort of energy in it, and they butt heads, and they try and sort of hook each other with those horns. And those bosses help to absorb a lot of that punch. Now, horns with buffalo, the same as with all the antelope, kudu, impala, and so on. The horns are actually part of the skull. It's actual bone growth, which is then covered in like a hairy sheath. The horns are essentially just hair or keratin, same as your fingernails, just much harder in the case of buffalo. And then inside that, the bone structure under that, so the extension of the skull, if you want, is almost got like a honeycomb structure. So it's really designed for being able to take a punch and absorb a punch. This is Gowrie Waterhole. There's a couple of buffalo around here. There's 6 or 8 of them or so. Not doing too much, just being nice and lazy. Normally get a stunning sunset as well from here. We'll have a look at that later on. There you can see the sun just over towards the west, getting lower in the horizon. I think we're going to just move along a little bit. I want to guess it is. See that little notch in his right ear that I mentioned? It was quite funny, guys. Most of you on the vehicle at the moment go and drive with us a lot. And I was trying to point it out, that notch, upside down with my left hand in the opposite direction to what I normally do it. So you might have noticed my finger was sort of just floating around in the view. And I didn't quite get the point right, even though it's something I do so often. I thought some of you might have had a chuckle about that. It was because I was semi-upside down, left hand, wrong way around than usual. So just thought I'll share that little behind-the-scenes moment with you. All right, where's the rest? That's what we want to know. We like this young bull, he's cool, but we want the herd, we want the babies, we want all of them, and we want them drinking. Good question, Gene. Hello, good afternoon. And as soon as I can get an elephant nice in the open, they're really being tricky customers this afternoon. I will show you what you're asking, but you just wanted to know what part of the ear do the elephants hear with, or you know, pick up sound with. Obviously, the size of the ears, the discs itself would play a role. Sorry, I'm just looking, so I'm not looking at you, Gene. There's 30 or 40 elephants somewhere there. They're just not coming out. This is such a lovely tree. I'm sure everyone has looked. Has everyone checked? Take a guess. Let us know if you want to in the Twitter feed. What do we do every single time we go past a beautiful big tree like this? I can hear everyone saying it almost like a classroom. We look for a leopard. So if I was a leopard, I would have a permanent place here. I would live here. But you know, I'll show you again. But the ear itself is just skin. And the hearing itself comes obviously from inside the eardrum, similar to ours inside the ear. But I'll try and show you the ear opening when we've got an ellie in the open, which I see one coming down. So I think, let's just go back a little bit. This is quite a nice view under the tree like this before we go down there. And let's just see what's good trees in this whole area. I've driven past this tree many times. Every single time I've done so, I look for the same thing, and that's a nice big leopard on maybe that branch or that branch or that branch or that branch. This just looks like the kind of tree that leopard would want to sort of set up a permanent place in. Beautiful jackalberry, sometimes also referred to as an ebony. I'm just about to dip into the... Whoa. A little bit playful, and they'll chase the buffalo away or chase them around. Other times I'll just ignore the buffalo. I mean, there's no real, sort of problem between the two species. There's no need for them to be unhappy with each other. The only time when that would change, John, would be if we are getting into really dry conditions, which actually could happen this year. We haven't had that much rain. The rains are quite late. Many of the waterholes are already getting quite empty. Now, if the water becomes scarce, in other words, if the resources become a problem, buffalo need to drink preferably at least once a day. Elephant like to drink once a day, twice a day if there's lots of water. Then you could start finding, there's that starling again. Awesome, such a beautiful bird. Even though the light is quite low now, look at that iridescent color on it. It sort of shimmers a little bit. Stunning bird. That's a beautiful view. That big jackalberry in the back. Oh, that was amazing. Just the whole setting, the whole surrounding behind them. The sun's getting low on the horizon. Elephants behind us as well. Look at that. What a beautiful place to be. Let me just turn a little bit. Such a stunning setting with the ellie and the tree and the dust. Let's see what that leopard is up to. I'm sure you're wondering by now. HT's gonna welcome you that side. Enjoy it, and we'll see you probably before the sun is down. See you just now.
Well, folks, it's been one of those beautiful afternoons, very peaceful in SafariLand here on SafariLive. We've found this beautiful cat thanks to Scotty and Steph, as I said many times earlier. Integral part of the team, as is everyone. But we've just been with him for the last couple of hours. It's been quite special. He moved from the termite mound up to the top of the tree, and he's there and he's cool. And he's probably going to be there for some time. We may leave him, just depending on whether he makes a move or not. But if we might pull out and let someone else come in and have a bit of a look as well, which is exactly what you would do on safari. We live by all the rules, all the regulations, and we've got a very strict code of conduct and ethics. So we'll let someone else come in a minute. But there's a few things. Just come back up and have a look at him before we do move on, and let's have a little talk about some of the special parts of this beautiful cat. I've told you how many times I think he's beautiful, but I thought it might be just nice to get some facts out about him, because this is a really specialized cat. They're probably the broadest. They have the broadest sort of tolerance, I suppose, of habitats anywhere in the world, and they don't only occur in Africa as well. They occur in Asia, leopards, but they're so adaptable. They really do. I'd call them. Some animals we talk about, we call them specialized. They've got a special niche, or they eat a particular food. These guys are just so adaptable. They'll eat anything from, a cricket to a small lizard, beetles, and then up to animals 3-4 times their body weight. So very adaptable, which means that they can fit into many different habitats and ecosystems. So in a nutshell, I think the factoid that I want you to take away from that is that they're not a niche predator. They're incredibly adaptive, and they can make a plan wherever they live. They're incredible. That's one of the favorite things I have about them. Now, when it gets a bit cooler, which it is cooling down dramatically, he'll probably become active just on dusk, and that's to his benefit. He has an incredible vision at night, much better than what we have. He's sorry, I'll just turn this radio down, folks. They've got binocular vision like us, so that means that they can judge distance very well, and they have an ability to see at night better than us, that's for sure. They harness as much available light and pull it back onto their retina. This is all something they don't think about, of course, but a bit of back of their eye, and then they've got a special little reflective sort of area as well that sort of magnifies the light in the back of their eye and allows them to pick up even more light or utilize that light available, moonlight or whatever it may be. And that gives them a distinctive advantage when hunting. Their sense of sight and their sense of hearing is acute, absolutely acute. Those ears can turn around 180 degrees and pick up so much sound, and coupled together with their sense of sight and their fantastic sense of smell, that's what gives them the distinct advantage and makes them what I like to call the prince of stealth, or the prince of stalking, or the queen of stalking, or princess, I suppose. But whatever it may be, they are the ultimate stalkers. And that's another little fact that I'd love you to take away.
Yeah, since from that cue.
You will hear a couple of other voices in the background. I've got a couple of other vehicles here, and they're enjoying this beautiful sighting as well. You see that little white tip on the tail? Now, okay, there's theories behind this, and I've read a few different things in my time about why cats have a distinctive little tuft on their tail, or a white tip or something like that. Even wild dog have a white tip on their tail. And they really do have this, that people believe is so young can follow them through long grass, and they can keep each other visual, really, and they'll sort of present that or display that when they're just going from A to B, so the cubs can follow her, or in a case of lions, it'll probably be the pride and her cubs. But that's what that little distinctive. So people think. We're never going to know everything until we speak leopard, and I like that. I like that there's some mystical things around nature that we don't know, but some nice little facts there for you. The afternoon shadows have now disappeared. The sun has gone down. I just want to give you a little sensory update as well. I think it's really important for you to know that it's not just about the visuals. We don't need to try and paint the picture for you, and that with the smells and the sounds and the temperature, everything around us. As the air becomes cooler and more moist, you start to get this emission of scent from the grasses that we're in. It's not just the grasses, it's also the other plants, but I always find there's this beautiful smell in the grass, and it washes over you. You get wafts of it when you get these little breezes come through the pockets of vegetation. I want to teach you a little Shangaan word as well, which is a beautiful word. Shangaan is the people, the local people that live in this part of Africa. The tribal language is Shangaan. There's other languages that sort of wash around the area as well, but Shangaan is the main. It's a beautiful name for this animal, and this animal is called Ingwe, and it's spelled I-N-G-W-E. That's I-N-G-W-E, Ingwe, and everyone refers to it as Ingwe on the radio, and it's a beautiful, beautiful word, rolls off the tongue, very fitting for a cat like this. And he's just moved, hasn't he? He's just moved to a little location. He might be coming down. I'm just going to reposition. A few facts about his name in Shangaan. He saw something, and he's got a vantage point here, an incredible vantage point, and he's definitely seen something. Alert, attuned senses like we talked about. Folks, I'm going to get Peter to come in and watch this for you. He's just sitting there. He's coming down, folks. I'm just going to move around the other side here, see what he's up to. So he's just moved on. We're going to go around the other side, folks. Just scratching our way through. But it's not as bad as it sounds. Folks, I was just about to pull out thinking that he wasn't going to come down for some time, but look at this. This is what Wild Safari is about. This is what being here on SafariLive is all about. This is happening right now, right in front of our very eyes. He had a vantage point. Now he's gone out of... Oh, maybe not, maybe not. He's still just walking across. He's keeping his eyes well open. Those are cute, beautiful senses, all on standby. Now, please don't worry about the vehicle starting, folks, because I guarantee you I've been with these cats many, many times, and the vehicle does not disturb them whatsoever. But to see this, you can see the tail. There's a definite alert sound. There was an alarm. I think there was an alarm call. I'm not sure if it was or not. He's just gone behind the other part of this bush. We're going to see him come out here. Just going to make a little bit of ground here, folks, while we can. Something, folks. He's just made a sprint up here. Staying back, giving him space. Can't see him. I can't see him. I do not know where he's gone. He sprinted. Hold on, mate. Here we go. Keep your eyes open, folks. Keep your eyes open. He absolutely sprinted away from us. Come on. Where's he gone? Got him? Yep. Right next to us, folks. Right next to us. Look at this. Right behind our vehicle. My goodness. He just came out from behind. Can't see him. He's so close. I can't see him. He's standing right behind. Oh. Folks, he's lying down behind my vehicle. Sorry, Q. I'll reposition for you, mate, so we can see you as opposed to you see us. Now that is how beautiful that cat is. Oh, my boy. He just came and laid down behind my vehicle, folks. He did have a little sprint, though. He chased something well before we even started the engines. He just bolted, so he was after something, and I think he saw something out of the corner of his eye. They'll take any opportunity they can, folks. Oh, look at that. Whew. Your heart races. Your heart really races when the potential of seeing him in full flight mode. We've seen him many times before. We've been right next to him when he has had successful hunts. Really, really successful hunter, this boy, and really, I'm just so impressed the way this animal is developing. He's pulling down prey that are like 4 times his body weight, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. See, just at the base of that tail there, VM, if you can just go back up a little bit for the viewers, just to see everyone. Folks, those little equilateral sort of squares at the base of his tail, in from the spots is a black row of squares. That's one of the distinctive markings about Q. Another great sign that they're getting active. Cats have a tendency to start yawning when they're getting active. Lions do it a lot. You start to see them rolling over from side to side, and it's a great indicator that they're ready to get on the move. I'm just going to reposition. but I just want to get up a little bit closer so you can see him in all his magnificence. And he's completely relaxed with us. Hey, my boy. It's okay. So just a little farewell to him. A last beautiful vision of this absolutely amazing cat that's allowed us to be with him all afternoon. So, folks, what I've got to do now is I've got to rush. I've got to drive back because we've got a fireside chat. And we can talk all about this. So, farewell, my friend. Farewell, buddy. You are an amazing creature. We're going to cross over to Steph, folks. I'm on a huge high at the moment. I can't tell you how excited I am. Let's cross the Steph, and I'm going to see you by the fire. Cheerio. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the bushwalk with myself, Stefan, and Scott. And we decided that we were going to share something quite magical with you actually for the last couple of minutes of our walk before it gets too dark and dangerous for us to be outside anymore. We decided to come to an old hyena den. Now, just because there's no hyenas here at the moment doesn't mean that this den site isn't actually active. The den site itself is active. It's just not currently in use. Hyena will have 3 or 4 den sites around their property, or around their territory, I should say. And when one gets too full of fleas or there's other parasites, perhaps bees have moved in, they move from den site to den site every couple of months. Now, we've got a couple of young hyenas on the property that we've been seeing lately, and this is where those hyena cubs were born. And they were born inside that little hole. Can you believe that? A 140, 160 pound hyena female climbed inside of there and gave birth to a cub. One mother gave birth to 1 cub and another mother gave birth to 2 more. And that's where these little baby hyenas would have lived for the first couple of months of their life. What they do is they excavate their own holes inside of a termite mound. So anywhere from 1 meter or 3 feet all the way up to 3 meters in some cases. And these termitaria can contain many tunnels and side tunnels. Some tunnels even the adults can't even get in. Can you imagine? And because hyena have to develop these massive jaw muscles and these massive muscles around their neck and their shoulders to help dismember carcasses, they start from a young age to practice their teeth and their chewing. And as you can see all around us, there's on the bushes right now, all the sticks have been chewed there, and that would have been from the baby hyena. The first thing that comes to mind at the entrance of the den, this is where they would have felt the safest, are these sticks. And they've actually chewed the end of these sticks. All the sticks up to baby hyena height have been chewed on. And then if you come and have a look into the hole, you'll see the bones there. And the bones were carried in there to practice chewing, like children would have toys. So Jennifer in Toronto, hi there Jennifer. You're wanting to know, are hyena dangerous for us? And yes, I personally believe that hyena are one of the most dangerous animals to encounter in the bush, even though they're not one of the big 5. And that's because when we're in our camps at night time, hyena, in my opinion at least anyway, are one of the only animals, one of the only large predators to actually walk into camps. I've seen hyena walk boldly into camps, and although hyena are quite timid, at the first sign of you chasing them away or clapping your hands, or at the first sign even of people moving about, hyena usually skulk away. But definitely I've seen a hyena in the camps. They're not scared of coming into camps. And for that reason, I believe hyena are one of the most dangerous animals in the African bush. And one I take great precautions to try and avoid getting into my bedroom. I sleep with my windows closed and I sleep with my door closed. I've had quite a few friends have near misses with hyena just simply because they've left the door open because it gets so hot here and you want to sleep with a cold evening breeze on your skin, and have had their clothes pulled off of the beds and things like that. But luckily none of them were hurt or anything like that. But coming back to these baby hyena, now hyena pup or cubs spend quite a large portion of their time around the hyena dens. In most cases, a couple of months. And the mother will come back and lactate, or she'll be lactating and she will nurse the babies from time to time. The mother's then resting in the area around the den site. Very rarely do the mothers actually go into the den site after they've had.
By saying, we'll be back with you at the fireside chat after the break in just a few minutes.
Cool.
So that's it. Okay, this view is kind of down. They are looking down at the camera. You have a look. No, that's fine. We're in now. We're in. We're locked. Slightly too much headroom.
Can I sit here for that? Well, guys, welcome on the fire with us. It is beautiful. It is just past sunset, but we've still got enough light out with us. And it's all happening right here because that's how the way it can be in the bush. I have to apologize if I seem a bit distracted. We just arrived here at the fire, and it's going to be a lovely half an hour around it. As people tend to do around fires, you have a great conversation, and you talk about lots of things. In fact, there's Hayden arriving now. He's going to be joining us shortly. And
is that not real?
we'll be talking to you shortly. I can hear you, Will. I just have no idea what you're telling me. Okay. I don't even know if I'm live at the moment. Sorry, guys. If you're still with us, we're just trying to figure this out. Okay, great. All right, guys. That's the way it is. HG has joined us. He's going to be joining us around the fire shortly. And we are going to, after the break, have a little chat about a few things, mainly about the predators that we have seen around here, as well as a couple of questions that you guys sent through to us. Look forward to answering those. Always fun that you learn new things in answering other people's questions. And of course, yes. Okay. Guys, sorry, there seems to be a little bit of confusion, which is fine. Well, I can hear you guys. Okay, we're on ad break, guys. There's the good news. I just had someone speaking to me that made no sense throughout all of it.
So
I didn't get a count and I get nothing. I'm not.
are we in ad break now?
We're in ad break now.
All right. Okay. Let's get you in there quickly. And remember to intro your video first. Hayden, your video is first.
Yep.
Okay. And then afterwards, you guys have a chat about it. Okay. And you discuss how what the reasons might be, how and why this happened. And then Peter, we're going to come to you and you're going to talk, and your video will talk about the conclusion. Afterwards, the dogs. Then finally, the outro to the ad break. We're going to be answering your questions afterwards.
Okay.
good and calm, Peter.
It's all good.
Remember, keep your eye
all good.
contact with
Your best buddy's in there, man.
your eyes over here, Peter.
I'm opening it.
Who's opening?
I'm opening. Count me, please.
It's all good. Oops, got shut. The fire.
Well, guys, welcome back here to the fire. And you know what? I have to have a little smile because this is such a beautiful place. We've got literally a canvas of sunset behind us. It is absolutely stunning. It's been a great afternoon. We had leopard, we had elephant, and we had a little bit of a interesting shaky live changeover going around the fire. You know what? It wasn't planned, but it does show you that this really is live. So laugh with us, go with us. It is my pleasure to sit with my friend Hayden around the fire. We're going to talk
Hello,
about
buddy.
a few things and a few highlights, a few questions.
Hey, folks.
And just have a good chat around the fire. HD, nice to be around the fire. Nice to be in Africa with you,
Oh,
mate.
mate, it's a pleasure, buddy. I'm sorry I just zoomed on in there. We had Q right at the end there, and he was hunting, and then it was all going a bit crazy. And that's what Safari Live is all about, folks. It is a bit crazy and frantic and hectic because there's no script. It just happens, mate. And that's what live's been all about. You taught me that. Absolutely. Do you think we should get straight into it?
I think we do. There's not enough time. There's a lot of fantastic things to look at. There's some great questions from you guys. It's always nice to answer questions from people that go on safari with us. And, of course, Stefan joining us later on as well.
Absolutely.
So lots happening. HD, take us away.
Well, this is the place where it all happens, isn't it? Around a fire. You taught me that as well. But that's another thing we had in common. Sitting around the fire, telling stories to each other or sharing things. And one of the things that I've noticed is that there's been an increase in predator sightings, okay? Since I was here, huge increase in predator sightings. And I think, we prepared a little clip earlier that we're going to throw to now, and it gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. It's all about the number of predators that we've actually been seeing.
And lots of activity.
Yeah,
Lots of
absolutely.
predators, lots of hunting.
We've had some incredible line sightings, and there are 2 line prides whose home ranges overlap here. We've also had a coalition of 5 lines that are a force to be reckoned with, the Birmingham males. And then one of my favourites, wild dog. Incredible hunters, highly social with massive home ranges. We've had some sightings that have been raw and real. But this is the reality of the bush. With many mouths to feed and a long way to run, they have to feed more often than most. We have really seen a load of leopards, sometimes as many as 4 different leopards in a day. With so many leopards around, it hasn't been a great time to be an impala, a Juma or Arathusa. And with so many successful hunts, there are tons of scavenging opportunities for others.
Well, that was a bit of a sort of a clip of the things that we found incredibly interesting, and I've just seen this increase number of predator activity, sightings, and successful hunts.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot going on, and there's lots of factors that play a role. More feet on the ground, looking around intensively plays a big role. I just have to, before we talk about it, just that last move of that leopard jumping, for me, is just one of the most incredible things I've seen.
Incredible.
Spectacular. And but obviously you ask yourself, well, why is this? I mean, I've worked in this area as a guide in the past as well, and it's always good. Sabi Sands is always good, but it's been phenomenal lately. And we've talked about it a little bit, and a few ideas. Obviously, firstly, seeing them is great.
Yeah.
There's enough people looking for them, and finding them
Yeah.
plays a big role. And then also, we're in a very, very sort of unique situation at the moment. Or not unique, it happens, but we just happen to be at the right time, perhaps. And that is that those 2 male leopard that we've been seeing. The 2 boys, they're old enough now to effectively be independent leopard, I think. I mean, they're hunting for themselves, they live by themselves,
Yeah.
but they live in a small area. They live under mum's roof, so literally in her territory.
Still at home, waiting to be kicked out of home.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to college, but this is working for me. And that's obviously a good thing for them. And a lot of the leopard sightings we've had have been those 2.
Yeah, very much so. Like today. Q, the brother of one of the animals that Pete's talking about right
I mean,
now.
the second best male in this area at the moment, after his brother. He likes Q, I like Kanuma.
Yeah.
So those two have been a key factor, I think. Also, there's other factors, the lion prides, the Kuhumas, we almost hope to see them tonight. They're just north of here. Another lion's just to the south. We're sort of on that sort of umbra, if you want, that peripheral overlap of territories. And I think that plays a role. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. All these different things are contributing factors that affect it, and it's just possibly a unique situation that's occurring right now. The dynamic could change completely once those two cats go.
But the fact that those two are here, and then also that we've seen a lot, just literally every day almost for the last week or two since we've been here, is the fact that these leopards are sort of resident almost at the moment, and then we've got the hyena den just over there that are literally in the middle of it.
And that's come up with a few sort of interactions, hasn't it?
Definitely. So the hyenas relative to the leopard presence, I think, plays a big role.
Yeah.
We're going to look at that just now. Have a look at that.
The hyenas are stealing the leopard's prey, often responding to the sound of the kill itself rather than the smell of the carcass a day or two later. That's why leopards have to try and keep the food as far away from the hyenas as possible. The best way is to take it up a tree, because hyenas can't climb or even jump very well. One would think that a leopard would defend a carcass, but they can't. The risk of injury is simply too great, and being a solitary animal with no pack, pride or clan to back them up, it is better for a leopard to avoid the confrontation and walk away unscathed to hunt again, rather than protect his food and possibly getting injured or even killed in the process. Then you add into this mix those hunters that just move like a tornado through this area, wild dogs who travel in packs, which means they are more evenly matched with the hyena clan and are willing to take them on.
Well, it certainly has been a very special experience. As I said, I think it's just, it's call it beginner's luck or tourist luck or safari luck, to be in this situation at the moment, to have seen so much of it. So we've seen lots of hyena and leopard activity, but then we just had this amazing experience also. I mean, we've twice had wild dogs come through here, which, they move a lot, but really lucky to firstly see them endangered species. You don't see them very often. And then secondly, and you saw most of it, I mean, just fantastic interaction between them and the hyenas.
The line, they come through, they sort of move. There's two prides that sort of butt heads here occasionally, because there's a bit of a vacuum from another pride that disappeared for other reasons. But then you've got the leopard, you've got a wild dog occasionally coming through here, but then the things that you've seen the most, which I've really watched and just been absolutely hugely envious of Pete's interactions, was hyena and leopard. That's the story, isn't it?
We've had quite a few of those. It's been brilliant. Just yesterday we had more of it, just hyenas right there.
But why is it, do you think? I mean, is it the den down here, do you think?
Well, I just think it's exactly, you've got the den almost in the middle of it, with the waterhole surrounding it, which these leopards are frequenting and using a lot. And they can literally sort of, in earshot of each other, as we just saw during that video. But I tell you what, we're going to go on a short break just now, or you guys are. And when you come back, we're going to answer a few of your questions that you thought about. And as I said, we always learn something from your questions as well. So we'll see you after the break, and we'll answer a few questions.
We'll see you just now.
So, this is a fantastic little segment now that we get to talk to you, we get to interact with you. And one of the things, when I first joined Safari Live, I didn't really understand how incredibly fantastic this was. Talking to the viewers and then being able to talk to you, back to you, us live. And Pete told me about it before I started. He said, it's like nothing else. And it's true. For you to be able to send questions to us and us answer them live right now, in the middle of the African bush, mate. Thanks.
That's great. That's a game drive.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
Safari.
You got a question?
Well, one of the questions, there's another one here that's come in, just sort of one of the last ones that I would like to get to as well. But one of the original questions, or one of the early ones, was from Graham in Johannesburg, and he asked, why did Karula not defend the cubs? Now, some of you might not have seen the exact story behind that, but Karula was the mother of Q that you saw earlier. Hyenas killed one of her cubs earlier this year. And the same as, you could almost say, why don't they defend their food? You know, they have the food, and why do they let the hyenas take it? And we mentioned it during the video there a bit, but it is simply just too dangerous for a hyena, for a leopard to try and stand up to a hyena. Firstly, hyenas are very big. They're much slower. Leopards are much quicker, but hyenas have got incredibly powerful jaws. They can easily inflict an injury, even death, upon the leopard. And obviously, an injury for her would be, potentially fatal.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a group to look after like hyenas do, or like lions do. So that's the. I just thought it's an interesting thought, because it is something that people instinctively would wonder.
Yeah,
So,
because the leopards are, I mean, if you look at them and you put them side by side, you think the leopard would just completely take on anything. But you're right, it's that solitary lifestyle versus the pride or the sort of support.
I think they're quick enough to avoid anything.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
they might not go, listen, I'm going to pick this fight. They'd rather just, rather not pick it.
Folks, I had a question from Susie in LA, and I found this one really interesting because I love the two animals. She wanted to know who is more dominant, wild dog, African wild dog, which you saw back in the clip, Pete's clip that he talked about, chasing the hyena, or hyena. Now, in that clip, it looks like the wild dog are definitely more dominant. This hyena's running, getting his hindquarters nipped by these wild dog. It was an incredible experience to sit there. That happened first thing in the morning. We were back.
It was the second morning.
Yeah, right.
Because we found them originally driving along, and we were busy doing some of the checks before we go, just making sure everything in the vehicle's ready. And I just saw these flashes across the road, and I thought Daker at first.
Yeah.
It turned out to be wild dogs actually being chased by the hyenas to begin with.
Yeah.
And only later did it.
That's right. So Pete sort of put a bit more of the picture in there for me in the question to answer is that it really does depend on the numbers, Susie. If you've got 10 wild dog and 2 hyena, those hyena are going to be not having a happy day. They're not going to be wanting to be around at the point. Those wild dog will be frantic. They mob. They've got this mobbing effect where they just go in and they nip and they nip and they nip. But if it was 2 wild dog and 10 hyena, those wild dog would be out of there. The wild dog are, they've got a better sort of sustainable run about them, haven't they? They can go for longer distances, where the loping sort of run of the hyena is a little bit slower, but they can still cover good ground. So really, Susie, it's a numbers game. To answer your question, it's a numbers game. It really does depend on who's got the strongest numbers there, and then the particular species will make the decision on who to assert, which one asserts the dominance.
Although, sorry. There is just a little moment, and it's going to tie into something we're going to talk about later again. But when that dog's chasing the hyena, that's sort of right at the end.
Yeah.
He's running and he doesn't realize the rest of the group has left him. It really ties into the numbers thing. In the end, that dog at the time thought there's 5 or 6 behind him. Right. The hyena thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And when they got to the top, the dog actually stopped and looked back, and this happened later on. He looked back and you could see he was like, whoa. And
Where's my backup?
Yeah.
Where's my backup? All the rest of them were hanging back up and going, whoa.
So it really is
brilliant.
It's a group effort, and obviously the way they survive as well.
You had a nice question here.
Yeah,
an answer
I
from
like
a little
It's always great
boy.
when we've got youngsters asking them. This is from Brandy and Keyston. That's a cool name, Keyston. You guys are from Kansas. Keyston's 12 years old. And I just briefly saw just now, as I said, one of the last questions that came in is possibly the reason for the large number of predators in the area, and possibly the reason Quarantine and Kunyuma, that's the 2 males, Quarantine that we saw with H earlier and Kunyuma, his brother, haven't been pushed too hard to leave because of an abundance of food in the area. And that's a very interesting question. It's on so many levels. First, I just love the fact that you're really contextualizing and putting into play different factors. Resources are very, very important. You're going to see this a lot with the wartholes over the next few months here on the game drives. As the resources become less, there's more and more competition for it. But very well grasped there. And it is definitely part of the reason. They're 2.5 years old now. At 2.5, they could have left. 2 years, they can leave already. They can stay up to about 3 years. But they're staying in their mother's territory. And a large part of that is because there is enough food. She hasn't had cubs yet. So in a way, those hyenas killing her cubs a couple of months ago would play a role there as well. If she's had cubs already, she would have been a little bit harder on them. Also, if there were new cubs in the area, the dominant male, those two's father, and that plays a role as well, the fact that their father is still here. It's not a new male that's taken over those 2 years.
True.
So all those factors would put pressure on them. The fact that she's having cubs late, we think she's pregnant at the moment. The fact that Mvula, the big male that you saw the other day as well, you've seen some good leopard as well.
I have seen some good leopard.
He's still around, so there's their paternal father. And the food issue, Keys, and that's very important. There is enough food for all of them. So because of that, they're like, there's no pressure. But when the new babies come or a new male comes in, there's going to be definite pressure on them straight away.
Yeah, true. Keyston, you're 12, eh? You're going to go far, my friend. Far. That's a fantastic question. Really, really cool, matey. I'm going to finish with one quick last one, and that is Chris in Yosemite, California. Instinct or taught? Have predators been taught to show up during the rutting season, or is it pure instinct to be around all prey animals in that season? Well, Chris, it's actually instinct. They know that, they are born with that, they understand that. They might get taught some learnt behaviours, but that's an instinctual thing, and they'll hang around as long as there's abundant food source. If the food source gets too low, then they'll actually probably go into other areas. It really does depend on their food availability. But then again, leopard are probably a little bit different because they've got such an incredible adaptable way of feeding, from beetles to hoofed animals 3 to 4 times their size. So Chris, thank you very, very much for that question.
Yeah, in the end, opportunity. I mean, and this is, whether you maybe work in Wall Street or whether you live on a beach island somewhere, opportunity is something that we all understand as humans, and it's the same for wildlife. Wildlife, they don't sort of plan everything. They wake up in a world and they live there and they do the best they can, and they have to go with the adaptation. If it's raining a lot, there's lots of water, lots of food, lots of babies, lots of easy food. When it's very dry, then it's maybe sometimes easier for the predators and tougher for, they have to use the opportunities that are available. Rutting season is a big distraction, so they do catch quite a few impala. Then the same as the result of that, 6-7 months later, when all the babies come, there's a lot of baby impalas that they can hunt again. The prey on the other side, they have exactly for that reason. They time it so that the babies all come at the same time during rain season when there's lots of food for the babies.
100%.
And when they're born, there's so many of them that the numbers will ensure that many of those will survive, even though some will get eaten. So a lot of it is just living your life.
Yeah.
Just going on with what you need to do to survive.
We'll see you after the break.
Brian's got things to
20 seconds, guys, 20 seconds.
How's camera work, Brian?
10?
You bringing us in?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Pause you on it. Wide.
So, folks, this is a really great part, and this is what sitting around a fire is all about. It's about sharing stories and moments of the day after safari with a cup of coffee and just talking about what's happened. Hey, mate, I mean, it's the sort of thing that you do. And
Speaking of two things,
scare the daylights out of me there, buddy. Hello, mate. There was footsteps coming up behind me. I was about to say, anything can happen live here, folks.
All right, let me just
Welcome,
take
mate.
off
Good
all
for
my
you.
kids.
You're good, mate.
There we go, thanks.
Take a seat, big man. You've got a little place to plug in your comms at the back there.
I'm okay.
Anything can happen. I heard steps behind me.
Everyone.
Well, so what we get a chance to do now is tell a little sort of story about our highlight of today or of the past. And we've got a couple of little clips prepared. And thank you, mate.
Hot.
Excellent. Very hot.
Very hot.
A couple of little clips prepared. And Pete,
Yeah, well,
you've got a special one.
yeah, I've got something to keep my mouth wet now, so that's great. And we were hoping to show you something from today, and we had beautiful elephant this afternoon from my side. Not
Yeah.
quite a leopard like you did, but you know, illies are very, very close second for,
Oh,
for
for
you
sure.
both. But so my highlight was actually one from a couple of days back. We had one of my personal most enjoyable elephant experiences perhaps ever, and I've spent a lot of time with illies. We had this beautiful young illy that came up to us, and we just had this lovely interaction with him. And as you can see, well, guys, there's something going on here. Impalas are running like mad around us here. This little illy came right up to us and then realized there's no other illies around when he looked back. You're going to see just now. And then we realized he's alone. I mean, the others had all moved off. He just balegared, as we say in Shangaan. He ran his little legs off. And then watch what happens next. This is what I really enjoyed, was just this little guy's heart and this little guy's attitude. Keep watching. We thought he's never going to stop running, but then he turned around. Hey, and that was just great. I just loved it. At one stage, I'd go through my mind, what happens if he doesn't stop? Guys, and for me, that was just a great sharing. I know that everyone that shared the drive loved it. I'm so glad you guys could see it now as well. As I said, I love elephant. Extremely intelligent animals, extremely sensitive animals, great herd structures. And that specific day, just the fact that we spent a lot of time with him and integrated ourselves into the herd, got him so relaxed that he eventually started playing with us, even though his mum had left, was just beautiful on so many levels. And then, of course, just the fantastic playing around with us. That was, for me, a highlight. In fact, I remember that, you know, we could do a talk like this 10 years from now, and I'll remember that one still as well. So, you guys?
I had an incredible experience the other day, but the first one thing, I want to shake your hand, mate, and thank you for getting us into that leopard today, mate. That was absolutely legendary. This man and Scotty and Brent and these guys just got me into that leopard today, and I just, mate, I owe you one big
I
time.
must be honest, it was from a tip off from Peter. So he said we must go to the dam.
Well,
He had found a track there. And yeah,
thank you,
so
everyone, mate. It was
pleasure.
incredible. So my highlight was when I was with these wild dog the other day, and they started something called a pep rally. Now, a pep rally is when they start to get active in the afternoon. They've had a sleep all day, and you don't normally see this because you normally find that wild dog are out there lying flat in the shade somewhere. You normally come across them when they're on the road or something, don't you? And there they were. They actually started to greet the alpha female and start to... They look like they're smiling. They actually look like they're smiling when they're coming up to her. And they come up and they sort of lick and they nudge and they nuzzle and they do this incredible high-pitched squeaking and squealing. And like,
No, it's
just,
awesome, man.
It's just pepping each other up, revving each other up. And it's like a rugby team or a football team or a netball team, or sort of high-fiving each other and saying, guys, come on, let's go out and we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great time. And then they ran up the top of this termite mound and they kept going, and then they sort of do it again and again and again. They all around the alpha female and the alpha male, and then it was just beautiful to see them start to walk off and trot off look up into the distance, what direction are we going to go, where are we going to hunt today, and all led by the alpha female and alpha male. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Oh, I love it. It's one of my most exciting things. What about you, buddy?
I had the most unbelievable experience with a super predator about this far away from me yesterday. It was absolutely incredible. We were walking through the bush and we came upon a herd of nyala, which is a type of antelope, as you'd all know, but for you back at home, a type of antelope here. They were staring intently into the bush, and when we walked in between these antelope, they didn't even bother. They basically just led us through their little gap.
Come and look.
Exactly, and we
To the
almost
side.
stepped on the snake. She was just lying there. It was a python, an African rock python. She was just lying there in the grass, and she stayed lying there in the grass, and she allowed us to spend the whole afternoon with her.
Incredible.
We spent the whole sunset with her. We were sitting in the grass. We were watching what she did. She never moved a muscle, and she just was very at peace. And the bush was just alive around us. We had brown-headed parrots around us. They were busy squeaking in the trees. We had the nyala didn't go anywhere, to tell you the honest truth. They just stayed. They just stayed right there. But just a real surreal moment shared with a super predator in the bush. Just couldn't have been better. So,
Yeah.
Nice big
Look, the story to me was when you told it just then. I was like, there. How can you give me a sort of
Yeah,
definition?
size
of
up,
that?
yeah.
Her head was probably as big as my hand is, and her body was about as thick as my leg is right here. So she was
My
about
goodness.
this big, and she was probably 10 to 12 feet long at the most. So she was very old. I don't know how old they get. I think they get about 25 to 30 years old. She was easily, no scars on her.
Perfect.
Beautiful colors. Perfect.
They are beautiful, and like you said, super predator as well. Guys, I'm a little bit curious what's going on. There's a lot of noise going on amongst the impala around us here, so might have to go look around just now. But guys, I think we should all say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we
Well,
want to, but because we've got to go,
Yeah.
we've got to get sleep. Tomorrow's another big day.
we're going to do this tomorrow, exactly the same time, same thing. We're going to follow up on that leopard tomorrow. I just want to thank you for being with us, sharing this fireside chat with us. It's live, all the little hiccups, it's all for you. It's all natural. It comes naturally. And I just want to thank you for being with us. Steph?
I just feel so blessed to be able to share my passion with you, and that's being in the bush on foot. And I'm looking forward to doing some more of it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
As I'm very tempted to say a lot of thank yous, but we can do some of that tomorrow. It has been a great day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. As I said, tomorrow there's more stuff happening. The same exciting possibilities with many, many more. I'm sure it's going to be a great day. I'm looking forward to it, and make sure that you're going to enjoy it with us.
It's just one of those things, and I think we have to pinch ourselves sometimes, folks. I often say to Steph, or Pete, when we're sitting next to each other, do you believe this is happening? Do you actually believe this is happening right now? Pinch yourself. We're broadcasting live from the African bush. It is absolutely incredible. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Thank you. It's a
Tell you
pleasure
what.
to be with you as well.
Same
Love
there.
it. Best job in the world.
And doing the best job in the world with the best mates in the world.
Yeah. And thanks to Scotty and all the other rest of the team too.
Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Another live safari. Don't miss it.
Three stone mullet sitting on a rock.